Hello, and welcome to today's video. The Empire had several off-the-record projects, so off-the-record that only the highest-ranking officials within the Empire, such as a few select Grand Moffs or Grand Admirals, would ever know of them. One such project, named Project Necromancer, would threaten to cement the course of galactic history for generations. That and more in today's video. The Advanced Science Division of the Empire was a highly clandestine research division organized under the Imperial Science Bureau and responsible for the conduction of advanced biological research. Requested by Emperor Palpatine himself, Chief Scientist Royce Hemlock was enlisted to ensure Project Necromancer was completed, with Palpatine stating that the success of this rather elusive project would be essential to the longevity of the Galactic Empire, promising Hemlock all of the resources required to achieve fruitful results. And before we take a deeper look at this scientific endeavor, if Papa Palps has shown us anything throughout Star Wars lore, it's that whenever there's something that interests him, not only is he going to do everything he can to make it reality, but it's never a good thing, and likely has some sort of consequential twist to it, which will start to make itself more apparent as we cover the project. Project Necromancer was a biological clone research program headed by the aforementioned Dr. Royce Hemlock, with the goal of achieving a successful M-count replication through the cloning process. The trouble with the project, of course, came from ensuring that the M-count wouldn't diminish during the cloning project. Necromancer was at extreme risk when its most important asset, Omega, a clone of Kaminoan origin, proved to be the only clone with DNA to actually have a successful binder. Palpatine's hope was that through the completion of this program, he could not only achieve immortality, but the ability to transfer into a clone body that could use the Force. As cloning an individual with an existing M count was something in particular that the Force didn't seem to appreciate, such clones usually ended up being defective in some capacity. This concept, however, is not completely new. Palpatine certainly cloned himself several times in Legends during the time of the Dark Empire, after the Battle of Endor. The only explained reason as to why he was able to use the Force was due to his soul/spirit being Force sensitive, not because the clone itself was Force sensitive. Honestly, if it came down to the wire where funding and resources became so critically scarce that they could only send them to either Project Stardust or Project Necromancer, it would be inconceivable to choose the giant-sized moon space station over what Palpatine describes as the longevity of the Empire. Because you have to remember that Palpatine saw himself as the Empire's only solution, only option. Without him, the Empire couldn't deserve to survive. Long story short, everything kind of goes wrong for Dr. Hemlock thanks to the Bad Batch, and the majority of the clones involved, including Omega and the Force-sensitive children, were rescued. No harm, no foul, except a lot of harm and every foul. I mean, this guy was kicked out of the Republic Science Corps due to his rather sketchy experiments. The project, however, would somewhat be continued by Dr. Pershing under the watchful eye of Moff Gideon, though Moff Gideon was using Pershing to further his own agenda. Grogu would be the center of these new experiments, as seen in the Mandalorian TV show. These experiments, though, of course, would be foiled once again, with Commandant Hux of the Shadow Council taking the project up. Commandant Hux is the father of, yes, this guy, General Hux of the First Order, which I guess is how we get the whole somehow Palpatine returned thing, with all the Force-sensitive Snoke clones, their genetic defects likely being a result of attempting to recreate Palpatine's body. Either way, if Dr. Hemlock had succeeded, we wouldn't have seen Palpatine struggle so much in The Rise of Skywalker, and the New Republic would have likely struggled against a resurgent Emperor much closer to the end of the Battle of Endor than 30 years into the future. I believe that that's all that we have for today's video. If you enjoyed and want to see more, remember to absolutely delete that like button and subscribe. This is Marcos, here to remind you that this republic could not have asked for better soldiers, nor I a better friend.